Hey guys and girls, we're back. Finally getting to work on the 62. A little bit of bad news. I was working on it last night, and I went ahead and filled it up with water and antifreeze, and then fixed the fuel line that had been leaking back here behind the alternator. Could have been an issue. So long story short, I go ahead and fire it up, and it starts begrudgingly. And I'm like, okay, that's good. And then I turn it off, and I come back. So I fire it up, and it's spraying fuel out of this hose. So I turn it off after I let it run a little while, and then I replace this piece of hose with a nice new piece of hose that runs behind this alternator. And then when I go to try to start it again, the starter, she's dead. She ain't working no more. I put power directly to it, and it just didn't have what it needed to turn the engine over. So I pull the starter off, and I bench tested it, and yeah, it's pretty weak. So I'm going to show you how that looks. Here is the starter I pulled off of it. Here's two other starters that I have that I think are good. This one I know is good. It came off of that Volkswagen. I had that 305 in the Volkswagen, and I got another starter laying around here somewhere. I've been assuming the starter was bad on this thing, so because it did crank really slow. Anyways, let's go ahead and set this up so you can see the bench test in all its glory. I already tried this out, so I know that I'm gonna be able to show you what's happening here. Let's see, get this here. Alright, so I think this is the only one you need for the solenoid, and then direct power here, and then just ground out the starter. Got a battery right there. Go ahead and hook it up. Oh, let's use the other side. This side got ran over. Still works. Okay, got your negative. Got your positive. We're reading voltage. I kind of like this thing. We're going to go ahead and put power directly to the starter. That's where your battery cable goes under the car, in case you weren't aware. And then this starter grounds to the block, which is grounded directly from the battery. So we're just going to put the clamp there. Now, there's several ways to do this, but I like using these little test leads. We're not carrying that much of a load, right? So if I use a little test lead and I just put the positive here, then all I have to do is touch the positive to either here or to the battery, and it should crank. So I'm just going to hold it down. Let me get my gloves on. Alright, holding it down and then hitting the power, right? Okay, now that might sound good to you, but let me show you the difference when I hook one up that's got some torque, got some horsepower left in her. This is the one I took off of the Camaro when I put the high torque starter on it. So this one's not dead, it might be half dead, but it's still got a lot more left in the tank. Oh, that's loose. I can tighten that up. It's got a lot more left in the tank than that one, I'm sure. Alright, hold on to your pants. Nothing. Oh yeah. Gotta hook it up first. Come on now. Here we go. and that's better. And then here is a relatively new one, a little bit different design, but I think it'll work. That I had on my Volkswagen with that V8 engine in it. No, that's not the best, but here we go. Let's see. Oh, that's more like it. So we're gonna go with this one. It might require some shims or something to make it fit because it's a little bit different housing. It should be the same tooth flywheel, so we'll see how that goes. I'll come back at you whenever I got this rigged up. And so I'll come back at you when I got this thing rigged up. I'm not going to bother doing the wiring in that truck. It needs to be redone. So I'm going to hook it up just like this. Battery sitting on the ground. Jumper cables going up to the starter. And just right there to the solenoid with my little test leads. And we should be able to get her to crank over. And if that doesn't work, we're going to move on to other things. I do want to get under there and see what kind of brakes this thing has. And in order to do that, I want to look for a date tag on the differentials. So I'm going to get under there and get started on putting the starter in, and then after that I'll bring you down, show you what's going on, and hopefully figure out what date those differentials are so I can order the right brakes instead of the brakes are kind of right. Alright, one of the advantages of having a lifted truck like this is that I can just reach the starter through here and I don't have to be wallering around on my back, getting bruises on my back and headache and such. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and put these wires on. I got the negative on and the battery's down here, and I'll bring you down there if it cranks. If it does crank, it probably won't start because we don't have any power going to the actual ignition. I disconnected all those other wires from the back of the starter. I'm just doing the minimum to get it to crank. Ooh. It's possible our battery doesn't make the kind of amps that it should be, so I'm going to go ahead and start the car and then run jumper cables to the battery and try to do it like that. See if we can't get a little more amps out of it. All right. Got the old jumper cable hooked up to the battery, to the jumper cable, to the test leads, and you know, we're doing it. Had to go ahead and fill up the fluid to move the truck down the hill. You know, with my makeshift brake, my one brake that works, and it doesn't even work right. And here's what we got going on in here. Yeah, it's rigged up, needless to say, but we're getting a good charge from the truck running, and I'm gonna go ahead and let the truck run for a little while. I'm gonna let it run and charge this up for about 30 minutes or so, and then I'll get back. I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference right now, but I'll hit it and see if it cranks harder. Let's see what happens. Yeah, all I gotta do is beep beep beep. I mean, it was cranking better, but still weak as hell. Let me check that voltage again. Yeah, I knocked her down to 13.0, but it's going to be climbing back up. So we're going to leave this like that for a little while, and I'll get back to it in 30 minutes, and that'll be a good long time for that truck to be running too. I haven't run my truck in a while. Okay, I actually decided to go a little bit different route. I hooked the battery up to the battery charger so I don't have to leave my truck running. And I'm going to get under there and see if I can't see any tags on the axles, so we can date them and figure out what's the right brake hardware to buy so I can redo the brakes completely. And what I plan on doing is putting whatever master cylinder and brake booster was originally for that rear end brakes. I don't know if I'm going to need to put a proportioning valve or not. Maybe it'll be fine without it. We'll see how it goes. So here we go. I haven't looked before, so see if there's any kind of tag or anything. Oh, there it is. That's probably just going to say the gear ratio and nothing else right here. I don't know if you can see that. That's why I brought the light. You can see there's a tag there. It's going to be marginally useful, but let me go ahead and work on that, and then we'll see if that yields anything, and then we'll get back to the rear end, and if that one doesn't show us anything. Alright, just to show you what I got here, went ahead and grabbed the wire brush, and you can see it says NF3896838. Here it says GM52, and I'll swing you around to the back side so we can read the tag, and then I'll get you to the front where I wire brushed everything there too. This is the rear differential. Okay, there was nothing more that was useful on that rear one. Here in the front, we got 245 upside down. So that's something, 245, and that's all I could find on the back of that front differential. We'll come around to the other side, and I cleaned that tag up pretty good. Maybe it's visible. There you go. It definitely reads 4314 307, and I'm thinking 307's got to be the gear ratio, which isn't bad. I'll take that. So that's where things are at the moment. We got that starter hooked up right here, but the battery still isn't producing enough amps to really turn her over, but that's just a battery I've been having laying around here for a year or more. So I think that's gonna do it for this video. Shut the hood on it, come back to it at a later time. Put this on. She's not long for the world. We need power brakes, especially with these bigger tires. There we go. Just trying to keep any moisture out of there in case it rains. Got a patented air cleaner, cover. Works just fine. Didn't get any water down the engine that I know of. It did run the other day, which is weird, but then it would never start again. There she is. Battery charger is basically garbage. Doesn't even display anything right now. Oh, fool my ass. I think that battery is just about done. Anyways, I'm gonna buy a high torque starter and new cables. I'll probably get like a 1 gauge or 2 gauge. Nice thick cables to put on there, and we probably won't have any more problems like that. But we'll keep moving forward. I'll look those part numbers up, and then I'll get these seats installed. I got the metal I think I need to make the brackets, and that should be exciting. So that'll be coming up this next couple of days. I'll be working on that, pushing videos out whenever I can. But I'm going to go ahead and take that battery off the charger. If the charger's not going to do anything but give up, maybe if I put it to 2 amps, it'll just keep charging. But it seems like it just wants to stop. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll be getting this truck going as soon as we can. I'm excited to put it on the road and see how it feels, see what kind of looks people give you. I'm sure it's going to be great. And go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more of this thing coming together. It's not going to be fast. I don't have $1 million, but it is going to happen. Thank you. Bye.